Because once you take yourself too serious, you're gonna find yourself trapped into the ego game. It's me, it's me. I'm the one who created. No, man, it's like you're just channeled something, translated it, packaged it in the right way, and shared it with other people.
That's Noro Kocharyan. He's a brand strategist who accidentally got his start at Red Bull at just 17 years old and went on to help build some brands that you've probably heard of. Today, he breaks down how to infuse a strong culture into your brand through a very specific case study. Early Birdz, an LA-based coffee rave he and his partner launched from nothing. He also shares how a vlogging strategy took them from 0 to 250 people at their very first event.
So how tactical you want me to go on this
I
part?
want you to go so nerd with me that you question it later.
Okay.
This is Noro Kocharyan.
Let's imagine that you are sitting on an airplane and there is a complete stranger who looks over at you and says, "What do you do for a living?" How do you choose to respond to that?
Hey Heather, so I am Noro. I run a creative studio in LA called Moons, and I'm also the co-pilot of a community project called Early Birdz Coffee Rave. It's a sunrise coffee rave that's kind of turning into its own brand and culture.
Kinda? That thing is huge, man. Y'all are killing it.
Representing. It's a global alliance right now, and we're just joining it. And the core of my work is basically about helping people, movements translate their vision into visual identity in a digital world that feels real and authentic. And I know the word authentic is overdone, but brands that feel real. And I'm glad that you felt it from my personal brand, just following on IG. It means a lot because your personal brand was something that I've been looking at you for a while as well, because I've been following you before even you reached me out. So it means a lot. Thank you.
You have figured out how to translate untangible things and put it in the digital space. And I was curious how you figured out you were good at that, because it's a rare skill.
That's it. It's a skill, but it's also an experience, practice, experience. And as we say, we don't remember brands as much as we remember feelings that are tied to those brands. That's exactly what you just said. Because I feel early stages of social media and digital branding and content creation, it was more about image building, right? How we want to present ourselves to the digital world. And mainly it was like very super ego driven because everyone was curating a certain image for the social media and digital world. Versus now, I feel it's more about identity building rather than image building. Building a world that's gonna translate different layers and dimensions of your brand. And it goes towards content creation as well. And we can see huge shift is happening, especially with diverse social media platforms on the market right now. Let's say we have TikTok, Instagram, YouTube. All of them are different cultures, right? And I feel TikTok made a huge change, big waves towards content creators. And TikTok also brought this raw feeling of the content, not hyper, super polished content, right? Because you see on TikTok, the creators are not really going crazy on their production, post production, the camera, lenses, lights, and all those beautiful things, right?
Yeah.
So someone from their bedroom can just go start recording a talking kid videos just from their bed and get huge audience just because that person has a substance in the speech. As you said, there are layers and depths. Versus before, it was more on a surface level. It was just showing the nice, the cute, and the glamorous things.
How long have you been in this space? Digital identity, visual storytelling. When did it start for you?
Years ago, I was like 17 years old, fresh off from high school, just in university first year. And I remember one day I was just hanging out in the university, and one of my friends came over. He was like, "Yo, you have any plans?" I was like, "No." He was like, "Can you come with me? I need some help. I'm gonna interview at Red Bull." Apparently, it's a good friend of mine because they were gonna get him on that job position, but they asked him to bring few friends to make kind of feeling that there are multiple people applying for the job. Somehow, ironically, I got chosen for that position,
And not him.
not him. Yeah. So I started my career with Red Bull.
Doing what?
It was my first job ever. I was the student brand manager. Some of the best years.
That was your first job?
First job was student brand manager with Red Bull.
My first job was freaking fries at Arby's. What the hell?
So life had some plans for me. Meanwhile, I was studying for my law degree. So my background is law. So I have my master's degree in law. So I studied for 7 years. Anyway, so I started working with Red Bull, some of the best experiences. And while I was studying my law for my law degree, I was like, okay, that's going to be a side gig while I graduate and start my legal practice. And then while I graduated, I was so deep already in brand marketing. I was like, come on, that's my life. That's my calling right here. There's no idea to venture out and do something else because I realized I found my passion accidentally, but it happened. So moving forward, I worked with few more corporate brands in like a 10-year time period. So I worked with Jameson, Absolute Vodka, Marlboro cigarettes, Armenian brand, the Arad, which is a well-known brand all over the world. And then pre-COVID, I was like, I feel it's time to kind of make a shift and get on the agency side, have my own practice, and use all these skills and knowledge and experiences that I've learned with these global brands and just try my own way. So here we are. And I started a studio as branding studio.
Yeah.
Eventually turned into just a creative studio, and we're focused more on content and strategy and building brands around content and strategy.
What did you learn from the corporate space that most solopreneurs, solo creators, small teams don't understand about branding? Obviously, there's a huge gap with budgeting, right? And what's the tools at your hand. But you think about from like a philosophical standpoint, what do bigger brands understand about visual storytelling that us little creators need to take a lesson from?
Yeah, number one is consistency. Like you want to translate your brand consistently across every single media asset. It means your logo, your colors, your typography, your brand systems, everything has to be consistent. It goes from your website to your social media post to your business cards to your merchandise. Anything that has to do something with your brand, it has to be consistent. You don't want to experiment with your typography, your colors, whatever you experiment, it still has to be in that space framework of your brand identity, right? And then create systems around it. That's another important thing, that because you have your brand identity and you have systems around it, how to use it properly and how not to use it, right?
Give me an example. I don't really understand what that means. Like how to use it properly, how not to use it. Like, what do you mean by that?
Like even goes all the way down to these little details, like having specific colors, having specific ways of using the logo, tone of your brand, the voice of your brand, the positioning of your brand. Especially if there are bigger companies with bigger marketing teams that few people are managing the brand. If there is no system, the brand will just collide into so many different directions. So that's why I want a specific system with everything laid down. So whoever works with your brand, they exactly know what's the framework.
Okay, that makes sense.
So there is not too much to experiment with your brand,
Okay.
especially if you're a brand and you're hiring a creative agency and the creative agency is doing a specific project, you want to have a full brand identity framework so they know what's their playground.
The perimeter.
Yeah. In a way.
Okay.
Of course, culture is very important, like translating, infusing that culture in your brand identity.
Talk to me about that. I want to hear more.
Okay, let's say, should we talk about Red Bull or should we talk about early birds in terms of coffee?
Early birds, early. Okay, I'm just such a fan. I'm like, why is this not in Atlanta? It's so cool.
It's early birds. Tell me.
Tell the people what early birds is before we get into this, but I'd love to use them as a case study for everything you're talking about here.
Amazing. So Early Birds is a community project that we started with a good friend of mine, Michael K, who is just super creative chef and event producer and just like creator himself. So, and it started from pretty much from our own needs because we are party people. We love the rave culture, the festival culture, and we've done a lot of festivals and raves all over the world, like stuff from Burning Man all the way to underground raves in Europe and stuff like that. But as we age, nightlife is not something we can afford, I want to say, huh? Because it's like late nights, right?
Come on.
There's something
Health?
happening.
Our health?
Yeah, like hangovers the next day. So we had that need. We still wanted to party, to meet new people, build community, enjoy some new music, because I'm a big music enthusiast. Music is something that helps me throughout my entire life. Any moment I'm down, music is there for me. Any moment I'm celebrating, music is there for me. So, and we saw this coffee shop raves popping up in LA everywhere. And we're like, oh, cool, let's kind of go and see what's happening. So we went on few, we liked the format of it. Something was missing in our opinion, because basically, if I'm sure you've seen those videos of coffee shop raves or bakery raves, they're popping up everywhere.
Only from you. That's the only way, because I Googled it and I was like, is this a thing? Or did they come up with this? And then I saw it.
Global thing right now. Yeah, it's a global thing. Definitely, we didn't come up. There are bigger players in the market, I would say.
Okay.
But what we've realized is gap. It was all these pop-ups. They were just a coffee shop, a DJ next to the register, playing some music, people drinking coffee, enjoying the community.
Yeah.
No concept, no brand identity, and no culture around it. And if you've seen like underground rave cultures, usually the best ones are very conceptual. You basically walk into this world that's something different, something wow and kind of eye-opening. For example, Burning Man. You go to Burning Man, you're just in this utopia madman world that has nothing to do with our reality. So it's just like shift. And we're like, okay, how we can incorporate this festival underground rave culture with sober morning gatherings. No alcohol, no substances, just coffee, water, some fresh juice or whatever it's going to be, dance music, and community and wellness, of course. And we started kind of building and boiling and brewing the idea. And my co pilot, Michael, came up with the name Early Birds, which was approved right away because I think it's a great brand name. So we came up with a slogan, which is Wake the Flock Up. And we started playing around with that.
All of your verbiage is so brilliant. I've been watching your stories, like the flock and the nest and all this. I'm like, damn, y'all are so good. Keep going. Sorry.
Yeah, it's like we call our community the flockers. The playground, the party space is called treehouse. The DJ booth is called the DJ nest.
Yeah. 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 And this is part of the culture stuff, right? That you're talking about. Like, what would what would like those terms be? Like a technical, like what is that? That you're is it creating a world? I guess because things are
It
named.
is creating a world. It is creating a world.
Okay.
And then you want to translate that world into digital world. It's where comes the social media and branding and content, videos, pictures, graphics, and all other stuff. But even in that case, you want to be mindful that building a brand, it's gonna be few dimensions. The visual part, the verbiage, as you said, that makes a lot of sense too, because your verbiage has to align with your brand, with your world, right? If you go and read the captions from like early birds posts, even the captions are very early birds coded lingo. Those are not like regular our next party, because like our events are called flights instead of events. Like we'll never say next party, we say next flight. So, and those are little elements that on a longer run they build up and create this world. So it's not gonna be kind of overnight world building like
Yeah.
here we are, let's go.
That's what I wanted to ask you about, like early conception days, because when you start building community, eventually the community starts kind of building it for you because they tell you what it is and it's something else is birthed, which is so cool. It's a co-creation thing. But at the beginning, when you don't have community, you don't have audience, you don't have eyeballs, you don't have ears, and it's that void that we all have felt as creators where it's literally you and your imagination and your best guess.
Friends and family in best case.
Word. Yeah, if they're on board with it too. Like it's literally your best guess. And I'm curious, like from like a conceptual level, like how do you kind of create culture or unravel culture when maybe it doesn't feel like there is one yet? Does that make sense?
So how tactical you want me to go on this
I
part?
want you to go so nerd with me that you question it later.
Okay, because if we go nerdy and tactical, when in a very first stage of creating early birds, we were like, okay, we have this great idea. We have our own network, but we have zero footage from an event
Right.
because we've never done any event before. It was like the first one. So how we can reach the audience and tell what we're doing? Because we don't have any footage, like zero videos, zero photos. The event hasn't been it yet. So we came up with vlogging, like real time vlogging, and we would vlog pretty much every day the process behind building the early birds project, like meeting some people, dealing with some problems, even dealing with like city permits. And we try to be as transparent as possible. And I feel that was one of the best decisions to start vlogging and just real time showcase people what we're doing. And then the first event, I think 250 people showed up, and we were like, wow, Jesus. Like, wow. So that was a moment we realized when you try to be as transparent as possible with the audience, people kind of click it. There's some certain surgeon magic working in that
Amen.
space.
Yes.
So vlogging probably the best decisions, and I can recommend it to anybody who is starting a new project, or even if the project is not new but needs a revamp and restructure and reintroduction to your audience. Vlogging is the one of the best ways. So I don't know if it's even underrated or know how often people are using that format, but I feel that's one of the best formats to showcase and have that direct connection with the audience.
Noro, let me tell you, friend, this is the fear that people have with that is we want to come out of the gate popping. We want to come out of the gate looking good. We don't want that hater from high school to know that we're freaking struggling with the permit to get the thing, that we don't have the clients, we don't have the money, we don't have our shit together. So there's so much, conceptually, it's we can all agree and nod our heads. Yeah, that's what we should be doing, is bringing people in on the journey. But there takes such a level of groundedness and just open hands, open heart to be able to do that, because we think in our minds, and it's BS, I believe it's an illusion, that people disrespect you more, don't think highly of your brand when you show the shit side to stuff. Can you talk a little bit about that? Because that is, from my people, the biggest they have about it.
Especially among creatives, that's a big issue. Because
Tell me.
creatives naturally think, because I'm one of you guys, and like I feel you 100%. Naturally, I am a creative person. Uh, I'm not really administrative person, but luckily my corporate background helped me that to
Yeah.
kind of taught me be responsible, follow the deadlines, be very strategic, and appreciate the systems and all that stuff. But naturally, I'm not like that. Okay, so it took me some time and process to go through it. But creatives, we think that if we do a work and present it to the world is just waiting for our work to kind of applause and accept.
Yeah.
But that's not the reality nowadays, unfortunately, because it's an open market and there's so much stuff going on. There's so much information, just like when you scroll your social media, that if you don't stand for your brand, if you don't stand up for your brand, show up for your brand, for your art, for your work, literally it's gonna get lost.
Yep.
And
Heard.
my personal community is a lot of musicians, producers, and DJs, and this problem goes so deep with these people because they think that okay, I made a great music, this song is amazing, people are gonna love it. Here we go, and then zero streams. Why? Because you didn't put the work on getting creative, showcasing your art.
Yeah.
And don't you think it's more about it goes down on self-awareness and even I want to say not taking yourself too serious?
Preaching. You're preaching. Yeah.
Because it's different when you take your art serious, when you take your job serious, your work serious, but you don't want to take yourself too serious.
Yeah. Yeah.
What's your take on that? I'm super curious.
I feel like people are not paying near as much attention as we think they are. In fact, it's so hard, I think, getting people's attention. And it's so funny to me because people will be like, oh, Heather, I can't put this out because of XYZ. And I'm like, do you realize putting it out means nothing? Because getting people to look at it when you have put it out, that's the hard part. So we have a lot more freedom than we think we do.
For you as a creator, when you're, let's say, creating a video to post about X topic, right? You put your time, you put your effort, your spirit, your soul in that piece of video, and then you accept someone's gonna watch that video with same enthusiasm as you put into creating the video. In reality, that video is just 3 to 5 seconds of that someone else's life. And then another 3,562 videos after your video throughout the day. So you're just a blink in that person's life.
It's kind of
So I
depressing
think
to think about it.
once you realize that, you're not gonna be too crazy with your content and branding.
Totally. But here's where this is my weakness and where you can help me because um I am almost too messy in this sense where I really value like authenticity, all this stuff. Like I have no shame, you know what I mean? And it's really only the past couple of years when I started this kind of like chair series thing that I was doing with the book and all that, that I started like kind of creating something that was like packaged and thinking
What
through it.
happened in your storyline that made the shift?
I have made just a disgusting amount of content. You would be appalled. No, you would. You would be appalled. You'd be like, "Oh my God," because most people would look at my body of work and say, "Girl, you should have gave up like 10 years ago." But I listened to Gary Vee and he was like, "Put out fucking content." And so I'm like, "Okay." And so I have put out hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of videos. I've done over 1,000 podcasts. I have put in freaking work. And a couple of years ago, it was July of 2023, I was standing there and I got really pissed one day and I was like, why the do I show up over and 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 over again, but things are not working?
Mm.
And it was exactly what you said earlier in a different way. I got mad at myself and that my blue chair is right there. I said, I'm going to sit in that chair and I'm going to make videos and I'm not going to get out of that chair until I figure out how to make those videos work. And it was just a few videos of just sitting in that chair and telling a story that things started working. And I went from like, I don't have a ton of followers, but I had like 2,000 to like 50,000 within, a couple of months just doing that. But that was the first time I ever packaged something and kind of created a format that was working. So all that to say,
Format, was it
because that's who I am.
off or putting more things together? So what was the system?
Noro, if me and you went to go get some Mexican food on a Tuesday, because that's what I do on Tuesday, and you and I sat there together, I would do that in real life. I'd be like, I read this book and it reminded me of this TV show, that's who I am in real life. I'm always making ties. And so I just started doing what I naturally do. I mean, granted, it was scripted because I have to think through the clips and everything, but it's what I do in regular life. So,
Was this before?
no, I wasn't doing that content before. Before I was doing just, I had no formats. I was trying a whole bunch. I was doing skits at one point, like comedy skits, like personal development comedy, which did not work. It was so bad. It was embarrassing. But anyway, all I had to say, like, the packaging thing, I have seen the fruit of that over the past couple of years of thinking strategically through format. Because I'm past, I don't want to say I'm past. I'm okay with looking dumb and failing because I've done it enough. It doesn't bother me anymore. What's harder for me now is thinking strategically about how do I actually bring all this passion together and all these ideas and all these stories and all this stuff and create something cohesive so when I communicate it to the world, they're not lost.
I feel the most difficult part for any creator. Packaging, finding that intersection of your own passions, your expertise, the tone, the language for the right audience, package it and present it to the audience.
So how do you help people do that? Because like if let's use early Birdz again as an example, because you had rave culture and then you had health and wellness, which I love the contrast in that because it seems like two opposing worlds. So wrapping your arms around two cultures and two identities and bringing it together cohesively, how did y'all tackle that? Because maybe we can find ourselves somewhere in it.
Just I would say just listening to people, like really listening to feedback, talking to people, and really trying to listen, not to hear, and understand what are the needs. Because overall, people are very basic. Like all our needs in the bottom line are very basic, right? The desires are pretty much the same, even though we package it differently, we express it differently, but everyone was the same. People want to be connected with other people. People want to be in the community, to be seen, to be heard. And in case of early birds, we just realized that cultural gap that there are people who are really into music and into this culture of raves and communities and dance music, but they don't necessarily want to spend sleepless nights, hangovers, be around the toxic environments, right? And of course, in that period, you want to understand specifically who is your audience, the age, the preferences, desires, lifestyle choices. Because with early birds, we quickly realized it's like somewhere from 25 to 45, that's the audience. So not as many young people, like Gen Z is not really into it because they have totally different world. So we're like, okay, let's just focus on this demographic, this specific audience we have already tapped in, start putting some stuff, making some experiences, and really try to listen the feedback, good and bad. Be very self-aware. Again, not to take yourself too seriously, but to take seriously what the project you're creating.
I love the distinction you're making between not taking yourself seriously, but take your project seriously.
Yes. because basically you're creating your project for others. So you want to be responsible for that project, for the work you're sharing with others, right? But then you don't want to take serious yourself, the creator of the project. Because once you take yourself too serious, you're gonna find yourself trapped into the ego game. It's me. I'm the one who created. No, man, it's like you're just channeled something, translated it, packaged it in the right way, and shared it with other people. So I think that's the biggest shift that any creator can make in terms of presenting their work to the world.
Is that what you mean by uh, layers of identity? So we have your project and then you have yourself, and those are two separate entities. Or is that what you meant earlier by that?
Yeah. And I think that's the formula that even like A-list celebrities are using. Because I don't remember whose interview I was watching. I believe it was Michael Jackson's interview because I'm a big fan of his whole branding and marketing genius, whatever he made. He was saying in one of the interviews that it's very important to detach yourself from the public figure that people are seeing. So I feel that's the same game because you don't want to attach yourself to the work that you're presenting to the world,
Yeah.
because then also it's going to be very difficult to deal with the hate and trolls and all the internet madness that's going on because you're going to take it personally.
Yeah.
Versus when you're able to detach yourself from your public digital persona or digital work, it's like that's the project, that's not me,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
That's the project created by me, but that's not me, if it makes sense.
No, it does.
Go down to taking serious your project, not taking serious yourself.
I've never ever conceptualized it like that because sometimes, my projects they're so personal and they are wrapped around a lot of personal brand, like the show, the content and so forth. I view those as, separate projects outside of myself, but since I'm the host and the face of all of it, it's hard separating those two out. Okay, so early Birdz, you created a vlog, you started creating language and talking to people and building kind of buzz. You had 250 people at your first flight.
Light, yeah.
Um,
Visionary, yeah.
yeah, it's so cool. So from there, you're obviously going to amp up your social strategy, your content. What were the things you prioritized in the way you distributed, created content that would make sure you kept the vibe, the energy, the culture of early Birdz, even though it was translated from physical to digital?
Yes, and obviously there are so many challenges in that process. So it's not like overnight it just happened. No, because okay, you got this momentum, but then how are you gonna keep the momentum and sustain it and even expand it, right? So that's the difficult part. And I mean, strategy wise, we had strategy also to go on YouTube, which we started right after the first flight. Basically, on YouTube, we're posting full DJ sets, live recordings, nice post production, like high quality stuff with multi camera angles, with all the beautiful stuff, right? But then we realized if we're gonna hit on that aspect only, which is just the music and DJs, we're gonna lose the storytelling part, which was the first spike, right, for the brand, because we started as vlogging and storytelling, how we're creating this cool new movement. But then this movement turned into a YouTube channel, which is mainly DJ sets, live recorded DJ sets and music. So then we're like, okay, let's revisit the strategy, see how we're gonna infuse that same short format vlogs into YouTube as well. So we started doing long form vlogs for YouTube, about like 10-minute vlogs on 10 to 15-minute vlogs on how we prep the event, some behind the scenes, some problems, dealing with problems, and all that stuff. And then we started also incorporating our community in our content, like having some features of our flockers, the flock family from flights, interviewing them. So that also brought some raw energy into that flow. And it's just ongoing process. So I don't think there is a point where you can say like, okay, I'm settled and this is the brand, this is the direction. We're just gonna do it over and over again because the overall the social media is just evolving so fast, especially with AI integrations, AI tools. It's just like every day you wake up, something new is coming up. So you kind of have to keep up with everything to stay relevant. And of course, there are so many difficulties, like with this, especially with this type of project, that those are mainly self-funded, and you kind of have to, because Early Birds is fully self-funded, so we didn't have
Damn.
any partners, any sponsors until this last event. So it was a full circle moment. We got officially partnered with Red Bull, which is a big milestone for this brand.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
That's huge, man.
For me, it was a good like full circle moment. I was like,
I literally have chills. Like, that's incredible.
thank you. And it you see again, it's like when two brands have similarities in terms of culture and lingo and wording and positioning, because Red Bull gives you wings
Yeah.
that go very aligned with Early Birds and Birdz and family and treehouse and all that stuff. So I feel that's still shaping and molding.
One more tactical question, and then I want to get philosophical for you with you in our last like 5 minutes, but let's see if we can do this. Do you see a space where like solopreneurs, podcasters, content creators who have video series, stuff like that, can still infuse some of this experiential, culturally type stuff into their content? Because that's my question is like, how do you kind of create family vibe culture when there isn't necessarily a physical event?
I feel if we go tactically, so somehow you need to find that intersection of your expertise and your passions. Because usually we're experts in one field and not necessarily our passions or hobbies are connected with our passion, right? They are not even close to each other. And usually we don't feel comfortable to expose that part because we take ourselves very serious. We're very professional and we have this expertise around this and that, right? But our hobbies are not that serious, so we don't only expose it here. So again, it's like very programmed thing in our minds. Because I come from my own experience. Like I would take myself very serious, like I'm this brand marketing expert with corporate background, blah blah blah. But my passion is music and electronic music and this underground community. But that's not too serious. So maybe the brands will not take me serious if I start talking about like rave culture, right? So it's like a lot of programming. But I remember in my case, I just started a similar story to yours. Like I would create so many videos on brand marketing, on serious case studies. It was not working out. And then one day I was like, okay, let me make videos where I'm gonna infuse my expertise on branding and marketing. But instead of having a corporate brand, let me have a DJ, not even a well known DJ, but very well known in a small community. Okay, so not a very well known DJ, but a DJ who is known in their community, and they've done a very good work in terms of building their identity for their community. So I made a video just doing study from my angle of brand marketing and using social media on a DJ. And that video went viral. Like I think I don't know, 700,000 views, something like that. I was like, wow. That was like my aha moment. Apparently, I can talk about something that I'm passionate about. It's not too serious for my expertise, but it worked.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because if I analyze myself, I was trying to target people who are into brand marketing before versus trying to target people who are in the community and just show them expertise of my brand marketing. So it's kind of I reversed the sides, if I can explain that way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Basically, I was like, okay, this is my community, people who love music, who love electronic music, who love rave culture, festivals, and all that stuff. But they never thought about the marketing and branding side of it.
Yeah.
How I'm gonna teach them, show them how their favorite musicians, artists, and projects are becoming so big and building their brands.
So
Because
smart.
again, people think you make your art, you put out there on social media, it's going to work out. Not really. There's a lot of strategy and behind the scenes
Yeah.
work that's being done on
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
So I feel for me, that was the biggest shift.
So good.
So, and one thing I can advise to anybody, try to find that intersection
Yeah.
where your passion, your hobby can somehow align with your expertise.
Yeah. You're so much more fun that way too. It's
Yes.
so much more enjoyable.
Fun and more unique because the chances that there are more people who have that same combinations are so rare.
Yeah, exactly. Only have we're right at time. Do you have one more question? Is that okay?
You can have as many.
Don't tell me
I've
that. I will chit chat with you all day. Um, I wanted to make sure we tapped into this because this is what really attracted me to your work was it was like this kind of understanding that there's tactics, there's strategy, there's all this stuff. But if we as creators and communicators don't come to the table with experience and something to say and a fire in our bones, you know what I mean? Like the thing that you have been given and imparted to. Do you like how I'm doing this? I'm so weird AF. I can't help it.
I
With
love it.
Ah, without that, we have nothing, and it can be so disheartening and discouraging, and friends, I've been there too myself where I'm like, "F it, here's another freaking AI tool that I'm not using, and here's another thing that I'm falling behind at," and I have to keep returning back to, "Heather, what is it that you are here to say, and are you in deep resonance with that, and are you being faithful to continually share that thing that's within you?" Because it's easy to forget the main thing. You know what I mean? And I want to read this to you. This is your own words. I'm going to read your own words to you, but it says this on your website. It said, I started to see my work as visual philosophy, functioning as a tool for curiosity and exploration. So last kind of little note here with all these tactics in mind, with all this understanding in mind, like talk to me about how you see our creative work, like the real meaning behind it, and how is staying tapped into our message when there's so many tools and to-do lists that can just rob the soul out of our art.
Don't you think it's because of we confuse ourselves or our art, our message with the tools? So we become the tools, but in reality, we're not the tools, we're the minds behind it, and we're just using the tools to translate what's here into a physical.
We forget that though. We forget it. I forget it.
Everyone forgets because
Yeah.
think about it. How many seconds in a day we're fully present, fully in our bodies, not here, fully present.
Not much. Not much. I have to like time it in the morning. I'm like, I'm going to be present in the grass for a minute.
And then you get all the text messages, notifications, phone calls, problems, issues, news, good and bad, and the chaos and the information. And like, ooh, it's tough. It's
Mhm.
the most simple thing just to be present and live the life, but I feel it's the toughest thing nowadays.
Yeah.
Do you have any practices that help you to kind of get back to your body and just be present?
I am a avid morning person. I get up very early. I spend about an hour. I read, I journal. I've been journaling since I was 14. And
Wow.
then I've always dabbled in meditation, but recently I've been more consistent with it. So I do meditation and I do grounding and all that. And then I usually run. I know it sounds weird, but for me, running in the morning, I always put hashtag mental health because for me, that is such a mental health practice, just the sweat and the cardio part of it. And I feel something when I run. Like I know it's like a runner's high, but wow, I get my best ideas there.
It gets you in your body, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like the secret is how to get out of your mind and tap into your body. And usually physical activities are very good for that.
Away from the computer.
Away from computer, like working out, running, doing yoga, doing meditation. I wouldn't consider myself as a great meditator. I rarely do it, unfortunately. But I would say, again, running, working out, having my weekly yoga practices, those are some great ways to kind of reconnect back. Because you don't feel it until you have that moment and you're like, oh, I was not present the entire time.
Yeah.
Because you kind of listen to your own dialogue or monologue sometimes in your head.
Yeah.
Or is this listening to what's going on around?
Yeah. And that's where real creation comes from. Anything worth saying. There goes
Yeah.
singing again.
You
Yeah.
can tie it back to branding versus instead of, let me tell you this way, instead of listening that dialogue in your head, how good is your brand or how bad is your brand, how good is your content, how people gonna judge my content, how people gonna see my content. Instead of listening to the dialogue, listen to the people because they're gonna tell you, is it good or bad?
That's so good. That's so good. That's so good. That's so good. And again, detaching yourself from my project versus me. When you hear the cries of the people and they're giving you feedback, you can be grateful for it because that's going to make the project better versus internalizing it, saying, I just suck. Yeah.
Yes.
It's so good.
'Cause you don't suck. Maybe your projects suck, right?
Right.
And of course, none of the project it's never perfect. You're not gonna make something that's gonna be perfect for everybody. No. You're gonna have people who are gonna critique it, you're gonna people who are gonna love it. But again, it's your project, it's not you. You're not taking it personal.
Yeah.
You're not being offended from it.
Yeah.
And obviously the more you do, the more you put out, the more you show up to the world, the better it's gonna get, and the more relaxed you're gonna feel about it. Because how many videos you put out until you had that moment, like, okay, I'm not really caring what's gonna be the.
Hundreds, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds. Yeah.
And I mean, still, your sometimes I'm sure your mind still can get back into those patterns.
Yeah. Sometimes. Yeah. Sure.
Oh, yeah. We're humans, we're not robots, man.
Yeah. 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 I have a final question I ask all my guests at the very end, but before then, I am just thrilled I got to meet you. You are such a cool human. You bring a lot to the table with your knowledge and expertise and your taste. I'm always envious of people with like a really good taste. But also too, like your spirit is so tangible, and I've just loved consuming your content. Thank you for the work you're doing in this world. It matters. And all your links will be in the show notes. Early Birdz, your creative agency, you work with content creators, people building out their brands, you work one on one with folks. So all that stuff will be linked up in the show notes. Is there Moon's Creative? Moon's Creative. Is there anything specific you want to direct our listeners to besides what I just mentioned?
No, not really.
You're like,
No.
that's it.
I would love to connect with people, with your audience, with your community. Usually I'm on Instagram, which is I am Noro. So I would consider Instagram as the main platform for me. I spent most of the time on IG. And thank you so much, Heather, for inviting me. It was such a big pleasure, such an honor to be part of your journey,
Thank you.
to share ideas with you because you're someone I've been following you before even we got connected. So it's like, as they say, namaste, and we meet each other as to the level of the depths that we can meet ourselves. I think
Amen.
good quote like that.
Amen.
So I'm super grateful for this connection.
Good. And last question I ask everyone, and we'll stop it here. What is something in your life right now? It could be related to what we talked about, it could be something completely different, but something in your life that you've been deeply questioning that you don't have the answer to. What is it?
Oh, I think it's the same question like everybody has. Why we're here. It's just a question that throughout these thousands of years, people still couldn't figure it out.
Why?
And we
It
can
makes no sense. None
now
of
that
it.
it's
I'm with you, friend. All right, Nora, thank you for your time. That's it.